Welcome to the special edition of the Carolina Weather Group podcast. James Brierton along with Scotty Powell, Chris Jackson, all in the same place together because we are here in Gastonia, North Carolina for the Weatherproof event.
That's right, James. We've been invited out to this Weatherproof event. It's an event to kind of bring the weather community together and also bring in the public. So broadcast meteorologists are going to be here today. We're here. I think the National Weather Service, a couple of colleges, insurance, car repair, just
all sorts of people,
all sorts of folks here, and looking forward to getting to see all the folks coming to the event. Also, kind of doing some work with our partners in the weather industry.
That's right, and Chris is going to tell you a little bit about what we got.
All right, so what we're going to be doing today, we're going to have a green screen set up, and we're going to be letting kids and adults alike do the weather. And we got a few graphics set up, and let everybody have their chance to have a go at it. And we have a free weather radio giveaway also. So come on out, it should be fun.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with that green screen.
That's right, let's head inside and meet up with some of the partners from today. We are here with Lauren and Sandy from the National Weather Service in Greenville-Spartanburg, which cover us here in Gaston County and neighboring Mecklenburg County for Charlotte. You are holding up a weather balloon. So tell us a little bit about the weather balloons and what role they play in the forecasting.
So these weather balloons are actually launched twice a day at numerous weather service sites all across the nation. For example, there's some launched in Atlanta that we get data from, launched all over the country. Even some in Alaska as well, and down in Hawaii. And what happens is our weather models, our computer models that give us a good first guess at the forecast, they take that data that we get from the weather balloons and they actually ingest it. So they take that data and they make our forecast better, which is fantastic. So these play a huge role in how we forecast and how we're actually able to get out the best possible forecast, especially important during hurricanes, for example. Much easier to predict exactly where a hurricane's going to go if you have this data. So it's really important.
It's very cool to see one. I've never seen one in person before, but
they're pretty big.
They are pretty big, and this one's not even inflated. And they do, like you said, play a very important role beyond. I think people think weather, they think radar, they think satellite, but you guys are launching these instruments day in and day out. That's very cool. What else have you been showing people who have been stopping by your booth here today?
So what we're really trying to talk about is weather safety as far as our booth today. So a lot of our messaging, of course we issue warnings at the National Weather Service, tornado warnings, flash flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. But if nobody gets the warning, how are they going to take safety measures? So what we want to do is try to make sure people have multiple ways to get warnings. Sometimes one way may fail. And so you want to make sure that you have multiple ways, you have backups. So maybe you have a weather radio, maybe you also have a cell phone app. The FEMA app on your cell phone will alert you if there's dangerous weather in the area, if we send out a warning or a watch. So that's really good to make sure. Social media nowadays is also a really good method to get warnings, to get warning information.
I see you have got 2 soda bottles and some blue water in it.
We do.
What is going on there?
A lot of fun.
Can you show us?
Yes, absolutely. So this is one of our favorite projects to do. It's a lot of fun. This is the safest type of tornado. You can find tornado in a bottle, very easy to do.
Also the only controllable tornado.
Exactly. We know exactly what this one is going to do and where it's going to go, which is awesome. So all you do is flip it over, give it a spin. One of the most important ingredients in the atmosphere to form a tornado.
And there we go.
And there we go. We've actually almost a wedge tornado.
I was going to say, that's a pretty good one. I was going to try to put it on the scale.
Oh man, I don't know. Can we sample the winds inside that bottle?
I'm not sure. But this is also a great activity that families could do at home.
Absolutely. We call this is a tornado tube, this connector piece. That you get a couple 2-liter bottles of soda or water, anything like that. Dump them out, drink them, whatever you want to do, and you can put in food coloring in your water. Glitter.
Ooh.
Out there, glitter tornadoes. Very
pretty
cool.
Fancy tornado.
Exactly. You can actually take little Monopoly houses, as long as it'll fit through this the neck of the bottle.
Interesting.
Could be interesting. So you can actually loft debris and things like that inside.
Safely simulate that lofted debris
inside a tornado in a bottle. So you get to have a lot of fun without actually damaging anything.
Very good. Parents, just make sure before you give that a spin that it's securely fastened.
Maybe outside to test might be the best way to start this, or in the garage instead of on the carpet.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting us stop by.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
We're here at the Weatherproof event in the Schiele Museum here in Gastonia. It's a weather get-together from a lot of people in the weather industry. And we have with us Stuart McDaniel, a weather photographer. Stuart, you've been interested in weather and astronomy for a long time. What got you hooked into doing weather photography?
I've just always liked to watch the weather and see basically anything with nature and just watch storms come up, lightning, and just basically anything to do with weather.
So you're based in Cleveland County, so you got some flat land to take pictures of lightning and storms. What's your favorite type of weather to photographer?
Severe weather. I've always, liked the storms better than the winter weather.
Definitely so. And last year you was able to catch the eclipse in Columbia, South Carolina. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we were in Columbia with WBTV and Eric Thomas, and it was probably one of the most amazing things that I'd ever seen. I mean, it's the second one that I had seen, but it was one that I had really took a lot more interest in and got to photograph it. So it was really something to see.
And so, Stuart, if folks want to check out your weather photography, do you have a website, or how do you display that, and how can they get in touch with you if they want to buy something?
It's StuartMcDaniel.com is the website. It's got all the information on there.
All right, so we appreciate that, and check out StuartMcDaniel.com. Lots of great weather photography. Stuart's an award-winning photographer who has taken many storm pictures, definitely lightning and thunderstorms, so go out and give him a follow.
We are here now with Jared from the North Carolina Institute for Climate Studies. Is that right, Jared?
That is correct, yes.
So what do you guys do?
So we do a lot of different things. So we're meteorologists, but we do no forecasting. So I have no idea what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. So we actually go backwards. So we're housed within NOAA's National Centers for Environmental Information. They house all the world's weather data. We have weather data going back to the 1700s. We have to get technical, we have about 36 petabytes of data in that building.
I don't even know how big that is.
That's so a terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes, and a petabyte is 1,000 terabytes.
So weather records going back to 1700s,
Yes.
What were they recorded on, and how do you access them now?
Well, so back then, obviously, we didn't have computers, so they recorded them on paper, and then it was actually it really started to become big in the U.S. in the late 1800s through something called the Cooperative Observer Program, and then so they continued to write them down, and then the computers came, and then they started digitizing more. So now it's just you do it on your phone or just automatically through a weather station. But there was a group for many years that did nothing but just digitize those weather records.
And you mentioned weather stations a moment ago,
Yes.
and we are here today at the Weatherproof event, and I see you have stuff on the table that families and kids have been coming by to check out. What do you have on display here?
So we got a lot of different things here. I have, we have the anemometer here, the cup anemometer that measures the wind speed. We also have a rain gauge. It's just your standard rain gauge that people use. Part of the good example is the CocoRoz network. We've been trying to get people to be CocoRoz observers here. We got one in Gaston County.
Can you show us that rain gauge? And
Yes.
anybody watching online who wants to know how they should be measuring the rain?
So there's an outer tube and an inner tube. So every morning, I'm a CocoRoz observer. So every morning at 7 o'clock, I go in and I see how much rain fell, and then I report it. And it's also important to say that no rain happened. So it's important; those zeros are very important for people. But if it did rain, it'll fill up in this little cylinder first, and it's got the measurements here that say, how much it is. It goes up to 1 inch, and if it's over an inch of rain, it'll overflow into the outer rim here. So.
And CocoRoz, just to remind folks listening and watching, is a network where anyone can
Yes.
voluntarily send in these weather reports, and then you guys are putting them on the record and holding copies of them?
Yep, CocoRoz stands for the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, Snow Network. It's very easy to sign up. It's free to sign up. They give you links, I believe, to go purchase one of these rain gauges. I think these are just $30. And then it tells you how to, to download the app, to do your reports. And then that's just one of the many networks that ends up in our weather building to archive.
Fabulous. Thank you for your time, Jared.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
I'm here with Candice Jordan. Candice, meteorologist here at the Schiele Museum. This is the first year for Weatherproof. So far, how do you think it's went?
I think it's been a huge success. I've heard a lot of good feedback from people, and people are really interested in weather. Whether they say it or not, they are.
Definitely so. And Candice, what inspired you to do this? I know a lot of bigger cities and communities kind of put on a weather fest, but here in Gastonia, the Hickory area, we've not really had anything like this. So what kind of inspired you to do this?
For that exact reason, we just don't have it. And like I said, you know, people are really interested in weather, so why not give them some resources and also give them a way to learn about weather in a correct way. There's a lot of incorrect weather information out there, especially on the internet, you know, because everything on the internet's true.
Right.
So, you know, give them a way to learn things, but learn in a fun way. So that was kind of my goal.
Definitely so. And you kind of brought together a lot of folks in the weather enterprise, not just broadcast meteorologists. We have the weather service here. We have different companies who kind of deal with weather. So what was your behind the scenes thinking on bringing everyone together?
Well, my thing is, you know, a lot of people when they hear meteorologist, they instantly think of like a TV person. And so it's like the meteorological community is actually a lot bigger than that. You know, like you said, we have our research people, we've got climate people, we've got the National Weather Service, we have an insurance agency talking about how weather directly impacts the types of insurance they sell. So just showing the people that weather is very interconnected.
Definitely so. So if you want to come out, give us the details. What else can we do here besides when weatherproof's not going on?
Well, I do have a challenge for you. See if you can blow faster than a hurricane. I've got an anemometer here, and I'm going to see if you can blow faster than a hurricane. We got some tornado tubes. You can shock yourself, make some lightning, learn about plants and animals and how they relate to weather as well.
Sounds good, Candace. We appreciate for you letting us come out here and kind of set up a little booth here, and we hope that we'll be able to come back to Weatherproof next year.
Yes, we're definitely going to have Weatherproof next year.
Sounds good.
100% chance.
Thank you, Candace. All right, we're here with at the Weatherproof event. I'm with meteorologist Chris Larson from WBTV. And Chris, happy to have you out here. It's been a good event.
It has. A lot of folks. Candace was just saying 350 people through the door today, so a lot of folks interested in weather and coming out to take a look.
A lot of young kids out here. They may have our job later on.
Let's hope so. I keep telling them all, be better than I was at math and study hard.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you gave us some good weather today.
Yeah, beautiful today. Yeah, we're out here in front of WBTV's First Alert Storm 3.
Yeah, so you want to take us, show us what you guys do with Storm 3?
Yeah, this was something that we brought online about 1.5 years, 2 years ago in a partnership with Scott Clark Toyota. It is a beautiful four-wheel drive, but we have set it up with incredible live capabilities to be out on the roadways and some interfaces with the weather equipment that we use back at the studio at WBTV. So if we come to the back of the truck, we do have just a big screen TV, and normally what we have is a laptop, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with like Log Me In, so we can go from a Wi-Fi connection and log into remotely to our computers back at the station. So we've also got this little quick green screen set up if we're doing something with one of our other cameras, but that's nice. But one of the biggest advantages of this system is, you probably know the days that we had live trucks and you had to go park a live truck somewhere and you had to put a mast 70 feet up in the air to be able to go live. Well, now with the advent of digital and phones, we can go live through a cellular signal. So we've got a complete setup here with a number of cameras on this truck. And this was put together by our engineering department. And then we've got what's called a live view unit. And this takes like 5 cellular cards and combines the signal that lets us get an HD signal right back to the station and go live without having to park or set up and put a mast up into the air. And then if you move around here to the front, you'll notice that we've got HD cameras mounted on the roof. I'll step out of here just a little bit. You can see that it's a 360 degree pan tilt camera that can be operated remotely from inside the vehicle to give us an HD camera view. We've got a lipstick HD camera mounted here on the dashboard with a light, so when we're in here live, it actually has a light on you to get a good picture. And then there's the forward-facing dash cam HD camera, and all of those can be controlled remotely by this StormCam switcher. So the meteorologist or reporter can actually be out driving live, chasing a storm or going to a snow event or something like that, and switch back and forth from the camera on them to the camera in the dashboard or to the HD camera up on the roof.
And so, Chris, being a broadcast meteorologist, you're in front of the green screen a lot. How valuable is it to have a tool like this when you're doing wall-to-wall coverage?
I think it's a great tool to let people know what the actual conditions are, because as powerful as our technology is in the studio, and you guys see that with getting live updates on radar and getting real-time data in, there's nothing like seeing a driving rainstorm or thunder and lightning, or driving and seeing what it's like out on I-85 when it's coming down cats and dogs. And even I do traffic in the morning as well. Being able to get quickly and live to the scene of something and show people a live picture. You can use maps and radar all you want, but if you can show somebody that there's a tree down on Providence Road that's blocking the roadway, or that there's somebody out there cleaning it up, or that there's a tree down on a house, or that you're driving down 85 in Gaston County and you're driving right into the core of that storm, I think that really means something to the viewer. I should say too that there is a mobile weather station up here. It's just your typical. It gives you, your air temperature and your wind speed. It's got an anemometer, except somebody drove that into a tree and tore the anemometer off the top of it. So engineering's waiting for a part to fix that. So it takes a lot of abuse. But I think the biggest thing is being able to do these live video shots on the move. Where you can really drive to things and give people the feel of what's happening out there.
Definitely. So one last thing, Chris Larson, kind of a newbie for our weathercast. We've not had you on our podcast before. So one question we always give everybody is, how did you get the weather bug?
I got the weather bug really in college. I went to Appalachian State, as did you, and I was a counselor at Appalachian State Summer Science. And got interested in science and weather then. Appalachian didn't have a weather program, and I was a broadcasting political science major, and I was a reporter and anchor in Charleston. And TV is one of those where you do what you're told to do. And I got thrown into doing the weather and really loved it, and decided that I liked doing the weather and forecasting much more than I liked being a reporter for news. So I went back to school at Mississippi State, and they have a broadcast meteorology program. So I went through that, and that's how I got into weather. But you'll find that in a lot of TV stations, that you just get thrown into doing something, whether it's news, weather, sports, what have you. It's like, here's what you're going to do today.
That's right. We want to keep our job, don't we? Yeah. Well, Chris, thank you so much for giving us a tour here of Storm 3, and we hope that you don't have to use it much, because we're happy to have this calm weather.
Yeah, beautiful weather. Maybe someday they'll actually let me go out and ride in it.
Maybe in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Sure thing.
We had a lot of fun here at the museum today for the weatherproof event. We want to thank everyone who came out to meet us, and everyone else who was here today. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, we got to meet a lot of young kids, maybe some future meteorologists. Yeah. Always good to get along and get out and talk with the folks in the weather community. Always good to network, and always good to hang out with you guys. Chris?
Same sentiments. A bunch of kids had a great time. Good turnout.
It was a good turnout.
Thanks for Candace from the museum for inviting us. And if this is the very first time that you've watched the Carolina Weather Group, welcome. We're happy to have you. Please do like and subscribe. And we'll see you every Wednesday night for our live Carolina Weather Group podcast.